Picture this. You have an upcoming deadline, yet you keep coming up with excuses and distractions in order to avoid doing the task at hand. Does this sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. Procrastination is often known as the arch nemesis of productivity. It is the tendency to push back and delay things that you might not want to do, like homework or an assignment. In a study done by L.J. Solomon and E.D. Rothblum in 1984, found that 38% of students procrastinate every now and then, while 50% of students procrastinate regularly. While occasional procrastination might seem okay, chronic procrastination hinders personal growth, leading to an increase in stress and missed deadlines. In order to be able to understand what causes this, we will discuss the factors behind this behavior. By analyzing the emotional triggers, cognitive biases, and self-regulatory processes of individuals leading to procrastination, we can effectively manage and overcome the habit to enhance productivity. There is a common misconception that procrastinators are just lazy, but the reality is that it's just the way our minds work. The limbic system, which includes the hypothalamus and the hippocampus, as seen in this photo. Sorry. Here you can see the hippocampus, which also includes the hypothalamus in the middle, is responsible for our emotions and behaviors. So when there's something that we might find unpleasant, the limbic system is what stops us from doing it. While our limbic system works automatically, our prefrontal cortex must be consciously engaged. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for our decision-making and processing information, and that is located in the front of our brain. So when you decide that you want to get some work done, your prefrontal cortex starts working. However, when you find this task unpleasant, the second you think about disengaging, the limbic system is ready to take over. In a 1997 study published in the Journal of Psychological Science by researchers at Case Western Reserve University, found that on the surface, procrastination might actually appear beneficial. Students who procrastinate were shown to have lower levels of stress. This is because they chose to do tasks that were more pleasant and appealing than tasks that weren't. This produces dopamine in the brain, and it's almost like your brain is being rewarded for not doing your homework. In the long run, students who procrastinate are shown to have lower grades and more cumulative stress compared to students who didn't procrastinate. Additionally, emotions play a big role in procrastination. In another study, published in 2000 in the Journal of Behavior and Personality, showed that students who procrastinated showed higher levels of guilt. This also included high levels of anxiety, and it was accompanied with the feeling of failure and hesitation towards self-regulation. This is unhealthy for their overall well-being and shows their struggle to overcome the emotional urge of diversion. Now that we understand the reasons behind procrastination, we can effectively discuss and find possible solutions to overcome it. In order to avoid procrastination, one must find a different approach to doing these assignments, whether it is emotional or strategical. Someone who might have more trouble with self-regulation might find an emotional approach much easier to follow. As discussed earlier, the feeling of guilt and anxiety play a big part in the avoidance of doing these tasks. When a person thinks of all the negative consequences that come with doing the task, their limbic system will simply turn them away from it. To change this, they can replace avoidance statements like failing a test or failing an assignment in order to avoid the anxiety of doing so. They can replace these statements with more positive reasons to do a task like improving their grade, beneficial results, or less shameful free time after finishing the assignment. The person must engage their mind in order to find the task meaningful and easier to complete. Other people might find a goal-oriented approach much easier to follow. For example, a study in a 2002 issue of Psychological Science, it was reported that procrastinators willing to self-impose meaningful deadlines are more likely to begin and finish their task. Lastly, there are options for procrastinators who might have a little more time on their hands. and they can chop up their tasks into smaller chunks to do over time. This makes it more manageable and bearable and easier to take breaks in between. Lastly, there is counseling that one can take in order to understand that they're sacrificing and compromising their long-term goals for short bursts of pleasure. Understanding the psychology behind procrastination encourages self-awareness and allows us to take the steps to begin managing our behaviors and mindset towards it. By recognizing our actions, changing our negative patterns, and adopting healthier habits, we can create resilience against procrastination, not only academically, but in life. We can ultimately lead ourselves to a more fulfilling and productive lifestyle. Thank you.